Okay, today we're going to do something that 5th grade hasn't done in a really long time. We're going to multiply fractions. And that sounds like a horrible thing because when we think of multiplying fractions, we think of 1/2 times 1/2. And in actuality, that's a really easy thing to do, but we're not even doing that. We're going to do 1/2 times a number. So we're going to do 1/2 times 2. So on your paper, you should write 1/2 times 2, even though your paper looks like this. So on your paper, write 1/2 times 2. Here, let me make it prettier. 1/2 times 2. And then draw 2 squares like I have here. So here's my question. If I have 2 squares and I take half of them, what is 1/2 of that? If I have 2 squares and I take half of them, well, if I take half of them, I take that. 1/2 of 2 is 1. That's multiplication. 1/2 of 2 is the same thing as 1/2 times 2. If I was taking half of that, I'd be taking 2. If I was taking 1/4 of 4, 1/4 times 4, I'd be taking 1 of the 4. Today's lesson does it a little differently, so I want 2 ways to do it. If I'm taking 1/4 4 times, I'm going to divide them each into fourths. And if I take this one, and this one, and this one, and this one, I took 1/4 of this one, 1/4 of this one, 1/4 of this one, and 1/4 of this one. 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, 4/4. One-fourth of 4 is 1. 1/4, I take 1 of the 4, or if I take 1/4 of each one. That's to give you a little background knowledge to connect this to. Here's your page. The way this explains it is, it says, count the number of whole shapes. That's one factor. Remember when we multiply 2 times 3? That's a factor. That's a factor. This is the product. So if I count the number of whole shapes, that's one factor. And then I determine the fraction that's shaded, that's another factor. And then I multiply. So let's do this. If I notice there are 3 shapes, 3 figures. And if I look at these 3 figures, I notice that 2 are shaded in each one. But how many pieces is it divided into? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 2/5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Divided into 5 pieces, 2 shaded. So I have 3 figures. 2/5 of each figure is shaded. My multiplication problem is 3 times 2/5. Okay? So I can do 2 things. I can count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I have 6/5 shaded. Or let me show you the math way to do it. This is the 6th grade way to do it. I can't multiply 3 times this. You have to multiply a fraction times a fraction. Watch. I made 3 wholes a fraction. 3 over 1. If I were to take your age and turn it into a fraction, if you take any whole number and put it over 1, you've made it a fraction. So, are you ready for the simple thing? Multiplying fractions is the easiest thing in the world. Numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. Oh, look. Same thing. Okay, let's try this one. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 shapes, 5 figures. 3/4 are shaded. My multiplication problem is 5 times 3/4. I have 2 ways of figuring this out. I can count all the shapes that are shaded. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Or I can do the math. Remember, 5 over 1 is 5 times 3/4. 5 times 3, numerator times numerator, denominator times denominator. It's the same as counting. We will practice this more in class. If this is really fuzzy, don't worry about it. For 5th grade, all you have to do is be able to tell me what the multiplication problem is and count. If you know how to multiply it, you're already in 6th grade math with your brain. It won't be hard, I promise.